not, again, this model is not an accurate depiction. There are updates to this, and that, it is subject to some change, and, So regarding the impurity huts, so for example, in the case of a man who has a nocturnal emission, he's unclean until evening and must reside outside the camp. You can see this in Leviticus 15, Deuteronomy 23. The impurity huts are to separate the clean, the tahor, from the unclean, tameh, in order that holiness be elevated within the encampment, so that they die not, that we do not die in our uncleanness, and so the divine presence of Yah may walk in our midst. These are the exact reasons why Elohim told them to do these things in the first Exodus, or in the first journeys for the encampments. Why he said to separate these people from the encampment, so that, number one, they wouldn't die, and two, so that he could walk in our midst. So we also have down here, so a few other things we added. So we have a combat training tent right around here. We also have sentry outposts situated all along here, all along the encampment, out here, way out here, the furthest out. There are sentry outposts. Our combat training tent, we begin training all of our males and possibly females, self-defense and military tactics at bar mitzvah age. Also, nearby the combat training tent, we have a command center. The command center is probably a semi-trailer or cargo container and used for communicating with other encampments around the world, and it also serves for higher awareness, encampment safety, and protection. Our sentry outposts, like again, they're dispersed all out here, kind of like in a circle fashion. They serve as the watchmen, the eyes, the police, and the guardians of the encampment. Sentries are on duty 24/7. They patrol by twos, and they should be over 50 years of age. The reason why they should be over 50 years of age is because, like what we talked about last year, what was one of the things that took down the Israelites during the first Exodus? It was Midianite women seducing the men. And they took out their sentries first, those guys who were on the peripheral parameters of the encampment. And then they, infiltrated that way. So we have men who are married and who are probably over 50 years of age on as the sentry outposts. That's all there. So moving on. So encampment locations. So where should we put the encampments? Plan A. So as with many things in with these models, we have various plans. Plan A, B, C. And that way if perchance a situation comes up that we cannot keep plan A, we resort to plan B. Or if Yah says ditch plan A, or he says no, don't do that, we're ready to yield to his will. But regarding locations, so our plan, the highest plan that we should have is to put the encampments on places by plains nearby freshwater springs. Plan B is by cool, clear, and freshwater streams, either rivers or large creeks. Plan C would be lands beside lakes, and Plan D would be land beside a series of close proximity ponds. Here's Big Springs, Missouri. You can see here's the spring. Let's see. Yeah, it kind of starts here and just gushes out right in here into this river. Here's a plain right over here. This would be perfect. Well, of course, you really don't need a whole lot of land in order to put up these encampments. If we do it right, we structure it right, we don't need a whole lot of land. We can do it actually with very, very little land. Let's see, what else regarding this? So this is just but one location. Also, we don't actually have to own the land. We can lease the land. We can just lease it. But again, we need to find strategic locations like this, multiple places around the world. I would even say multiple places in America where you have plains and you have big water springs nearby a plain where you can set up camp. So this is about one location, and there's many others. So other locations possibly in Arizona, Texas, and Tennessee. Notice these are southern states. There's a reason why I chose the southern states. Part of it is because Yeshua said, pray that your flight be not in the Sabbath or in the winter. There's a reason why he said that. The winters, at least in North America, they can be very severe. So much so that you can't stay outside. You'll die. So harsh winters are actually worse than harsh summers, I personally believe, unless someone can convince me otherwise. Harsh summers, you can still function outside. It may be difficult, but you can still function outside. Harsh winters, you can't. So that's why I suggest setting up these in the southern states first. And actually, if it's like a severe summer or a severe winter, we could actually migrate the camps. We could go, if it's a severe summer and the lands are scorched down the south, we could actually just migrate north, keep it up north, the camp north, and during the severe winter, we just migrate south. Of course, also at Yah's direction. Regarding the encampment migrations, how much time do I have? 10 minutes? 10 minutes? Or 4:45? Is it 4:45? Okay. All right, so regarding encampment migrations, so path of migration. So what is our proposed route of migration? How will the greater encampments move? Maybe the smaller encampments have the duty to absorb themselves into larger encampments. So they're absorbed into the larger encampments. I believe as the migrations take place, one camp will communicate with the other, and as the problems escalate, the trials escalate, the troubles are increased, we'll see the need to converge. Because we may have breakaway camps. Some guys may say, no, I think you have too many ground rules, or we want to have guns, or no, we don't want to have guns, or whatever the reason is. So we may have breakaway camps that disagree. But as the going gets tough, we're going to see the need to get along despite our differences. Proposed route of migration, by the way, I believe, personally, I'll just give it to you in a nutshell. I believe that the two mountain ranges, the Appalachian and the Rockies, will serve as refuge for both the east and the west coasts. And that as they bring the encampments down, they have a lot of stragglers come down nearby the mountain ranges, and they'll form encampments, or the already established encampments will take more people in. These encampments will absorb into other ones, and the path of migration, I believe, will be east, because we need to get back to the Middle East. So for those from the west, we'll migrate east, southeast actually, and then as the encampments grow and grow and grow, become bigger and bigger, we actually will make it, I believe, up to New York, possibly. There's several reasons why I propose New York. One reason is so that Israel can judge Babylon. Whether New York is Babylon or not, I'm not entirely convinced, but nevertheless, I believe Israelites can judge New York. It just needs, that city is very wicked, and But in doing so, they will also extract many, many Jews. Many Jews will become a part of these encampments. And from there, we can cross the Atlantic. I believe by that time, Elohim will raise up prophets and will go on dry shod across the Atlantic. Yes, it will take a while, but Yah can give us the supernatural strength to do that. So yeah, let me just show you here. So southern states set up encampments down here. Live is wise. And everybody from up here essentially migrate in this kind of this direction. We'll probably do this number right down here like this. Kind of go, or maybe over here, up like this, boom, cross the Atlantic over here. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm saying this is just a proposed route that personally I believe may take place. Of course, at Yah's guidance, He's directing us. So, oh yes, Atlantic. Well, how's this going to work? Well, let's see. So, from here, New York's roughly right here, I think. We go, by the way, this is not a flat earth model. This is a globe model. But from here, we would go right around here. That would bring us right about to Madrid. If we go straight across the Atlantic, or actually nearby Spain, somewhere in Spain. And from there, we can migrate up here, possibly visit England, Scotland, and European Israelites will join us. From there, we'll go over here, actually between the Caspian and the Black Seas, over here to the North Country. I believe the North Country right over here. Here's Turkey, but North Country is right in here. And this is where we're going to set up shop for a little while. And this is where Yah's going to meet us. I believe He possibly here or earlier, He will meet us face to face. There's going to be a lot that's going on there. And then from there, then we move to northern Israel and Lebanon together. Actually, I believe all the tribes will be united right up here in the North Country. Also, tribes, you have maybe African tribes, tribes from Australia, from the Middle East, from Afghanistan, Pakistan, from India. We should all meet roughly right here. And then we make our serious advent right there. We bring judgment upon the nations. Yah judges the nations, and I believe Israel will also take part in judging the nations, just like the first Exodus. So a few means of transportation: Plan A, rapture; Plan B, semi-tractor trailers. Oh, by the way, so these are proposed means of transportation that if the dung hits the fan and we don't have technology, or at least we can't use our conventional means, that we can rig vehicles up to where we can do this. But so our greatest desire is to just be transported like Philip, right over there. Which Yah can do it. I'm not putting it past Him. He can do anything. I believe the patterns of the first Exodus will play over to the second, so I believe there will be migrations. Scriptures say there will be, but hey, maybe certain of us, certain camps, maybe He may just move them supernaturally. It's possible. Plan B is to expect to use, that we could use, hopefully, Yah willing, we could use semi-tractor trailers. That way we could take all the whole encampment with us. We won't need to leave anything behind. We could take everything with us. But we need to rig the semi-trailers, or the semis, with Faraday cages. And there's a whole other thing about that. We also don't necessarily need to use newer models. We can use older models that aren't going to be affected by EMPs. Now, whether or not we can use the main roads or not, I'm not for sure. When I was driving, I was in Colorado, I was in Denver a few weeks ago. When I was driving back, a lot of places I saw on I-70, on the ramps, there were these huge swing gates, these huge swinging gates. I saw them in many, many locations when I would just stop to take a break or something. So, yeah, I believe the main roads are going to be shut down, or at least they're going to be severely monitored. We may not be able to use the main roads. So that brings us to Plan C, ATVs and monster trucks. So off-road vehicles. I wouldn't mind that. I think that's definitely a viable option. Plan D would be even less favorable, less efficient, but yet very probable also. That is to use horses, oxen, donkeys, mules, buggies, and wagons. And then Plan E, the most least favorable, would be to do everything on foot, without anything. Just the back, the back, our pack on our back, and is traveling. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to wrap it up here. But as we move throughout these these different means of transportation, so we pray that Yah will allow us to use either Plan A or Plan B. This is what we pray for. And the patterns of the first Exodus, I believe, will play over to the second. I believe personally, if we plan properly, do it right, maybe certain camps can be supernaturally taken over there. But I believe a lot of the encampments will be able to use semi-trucks and tractor trailers. I believe that. I could be wrong, but if we play our cards right and we plan everything and we get everything in order before the dung hits the fan, I believe it's possible. We can do it. And there's a whole lot of other information, subjects pertaining to the second Exodus to talk about. If you want to, you can join our Facebook page. It's called Second Exodus Living. Second Exodus Living. We have weekly updates, and there's a lot. We post information like what you just saw. We'll be posting a lot of this information up there. We have a lot of other information up there pertaining to this. So, I'm just going to close in prayer. Thank you, Avinu Shabbat Shamayim, our Father in heaven. Thank you for your truth. Thank you for your understanding of what you're going to do very soon, what you're going to bring upon this earth. We ask, Abba, that you would prepare our hearts and that we would make preparation to meet your perfect will. So we pray for your perfect will to be manifest in the midst of your people, be manifest for the second Exodus encampments, that we ready ourselves and listen to your voice. In the name of your Son, Yeshua HaMashiach. Amen. Questions?